Hi everyone and welcome back to Classic Gamer 74. I am your host Anthony Gamer and I am Alligator. Today we're going to be discussing casino slot machines and fruit machines. Now of course many of you are familiar with slot machines themselves. Back in the old days you'd put a coin in the slot and you would pull the handle and then the reels, usually 3 of them, would roll and you would try to line up 3 of the same item. Now in England they're called fruit machines and they're basically the same as they are here in the United States, as both machines early on did have fruit as the items. In a lot of the cartoons you would see that 3 lemons was, quote, the loser, and you would always try to hope for 3 cherries, or at least a cherry, because that meant that you won something. Depending upon the amount of money in the machine and later on with the lines would depend on how much you could win. Exactly. Early on you only had 1 line, and slot machines usually back then ran on quarters. Now, of course, they have dollar machines, they have penny machines, and nickel machines. And you can actually put your bet on more than 1 line. They can go diagonal and things like that. So chances are that you could win more. But 9 times out of 10, you're actually probably going to lose more. That's correct. Now, I myself am not a high roller, and I'm not either. True story. Years ago, I went to the casino boats that are here in Northwest Indiana. Yep. And I played the nickel slots. Yep. And I won $65. Ooh. And then I quit because I was ahead. Oh yeah. I wish my wife would do that. Yeah, I know what you mean. I just hope she doesn't watch this video. How come? Well, remember when we did that video on casino card games? Oh yeah. Then she decided it was time to take a trip to Las Vegas. Yep. So with the pandemic going on and most people not wanting to go to casinos, probably the safest way to play slot machines nowadays are in video game format. And long before this ever happened or was even thought of, video game programmers were making games for game systems that were slot machine based, or I should say fruit machine. So in today's video we're going to look at 3 different types of machines. We have the slot machine from here in America. We have the fruit machine from the United Kingdom, and we have the Japanese slot machines that are a little bit different. And I will explain those as we get to them. So, without further ado, are you ready to start? Oh yeah, let's get to it. Yep, and the best part of all is you won't lose money by playing these games. So, let's hit it.
And our first game for today is a slot machine game, and this is the Casino Slot Machine for the Magnavox Odyssey 2. Now, this one you are able to use multiple lines in playing this game, so you don't have to worry about just the one in the middle. Actually, in this game you start off with no money, so technically you're in debt until you get some sort of windfall. This is not a very loose slot machine. It's going to take you a while, but as you can see in this one, I actually got a jackpot relatively early in the game. And by the time this thing was all done with it showing everything, I ended up winning like 25 bucks. So yes, this is quite a fun game, but like a lot of Magnavox Odyssey 2 games, it's quite loud too. And the next game is for the Atari 2600. It was released in 1979 by Atari, and this is just simply called Slot Machine. And it was programmed by one of the greatest programmers of all time, David Crane. In this one, you have 8 different variations to play from. You can have 1 or 2 players, and you are playing against a computer or a friend, and you are trying to win the most money and make the other person go bankrupt. It's a pretty cool game and really ahead of its time for its time. I tell you, he and I have spent quite a bit of time and lost a lot of virtual money playing this game. Okay, and next up we have Slot Machine, or Big Casino, or also you could call this here video cart number 22 for the Fairchild Channel F. In this game, it's your typical slot machine, except for you don't see the hammer get pulled down even though you know it's happening. Now, it's a pretty cool slot machine with one single line. It's, you know, the usual with the fruits like you used to seeing. And chances are good, since this game was made for the Fairchild Channel F, that this game was programmed by the great Jerry Lawson. Did you just call me there? What was that? I heard a voice. Yo, it's me, right here. Did you call me? I thought I heard my name. No, we're talking about this Jerry Lawson, not you. Oh, okay then. Now, the next three that you're going to see came from actual slot machines. They are called Butterfly Slot, Cherry 10 Slot, and Cherry Gold. Now, how these programs work is that they can be put into actual machines. Not all machines have particular themes to them, and you can place the programs right into them. Now, my personal experience with these machines were that they were usually placed in those huge machines that you probably see at the back of a truck stop. They look kind of like widescreen TVs in a lot of ways, and they have multiple games in them. And it was not uncommon to have these slot machine games inside those machines. Now, because of the fact that it's illegal to have a actual money-paying gambling slot machine outside of a casino, you didn't actually win real money on these machines. You would win tickets that you could use to buy merchandise or food at the particular truck stop that you happen to be in. Now, this particular machine that you're looking at right here, I believe came from Brazil. I assume that's Portuguese there. Anyway, so yeah, it was kind of neat to have those machines. In the back is not only would you have slot machines, but you would also have other family-friendly type games. At the truck stop I worked at, they actually had some pretty cool adult-themed slot machines, but my boss quickly took them out. You gonna tell us that story about the one guy that got mad because he didn't win anything? Oh yeah, well, we had this was back when I worked at a truck stop when I was in my final year of college. As I said, I worked at a truck stop, and we had one of these machines in the back, and it was pretty common for people to come in and play them. Now, we had this one big chucklehead that used to come in there named Win, and he didn't live up to his name. And he hardly ever won anything on the machines. I mean, he would play them and didn't win squat. But the kid that worked at the fuel desk, he would go there on his breaks and he would play the machine, and he ended up winning like tons of tickets and stuff. And so the guy Win got really mad and complained to the owner, saying that it wasn't fair that he could play and win stuff and that he couldn't. Basically saying, I'm a loser, I didn't win, and I'm going to take it out on someone else. So after that point, our boss said, no, nobody else that works here is allowed to play them, even if you're off the clock or whatever. So I'm not sure if they still have it there. I have stopped at a couple truck stops here lately and seen them, but yeah, we had quite a bit of fun. I myself didn't play them much. I played some of the other games that were on there, but yeah, we had quite a few people in the back room playing these things.
And it's time for today's trivia question. We haven't done one of these in a while, have we? No, it's been quite a while. Okay. Now, it's not uncommon for a slot machine to make its way as a mini game into a video game. Most people around nowadays are familiar with the fact that just about every Pokemon game has a Pokemon slot machine in it that you can use to win money and buy rare Pokemon, and we'll show that here in a second. However, there is one video game that your character can play a slot machine where it can actually get your character killed. So that's today's trivia question. What is the name of the video game in which your character has a chance of getting killed by playing the slot machine? You think you know the answer? Wait till the end and see if you're correct.
Alright, so let's head over to the world of fruit machines, and we are traveling to the United Kingdom. As you can see, this is a little bit different than the ones we've seen so far. This one has 4 reels and has some really cool bonus rounds on it. This is called Arcade Classics Fruit Machine for the Commodore Amiga. The bonus rounds themselves are really cool because then you get the opportunity to try for even more money after you've got to a certain point, which kind of gives you a lot more opportunities to win some big bucks. To be honest, I found myself playing this game for hours on end. Actually, this video, if all the way through, was quite long. But once I got the hang of it, I really enjoyed it. If I ever do go to the UK, I plan on trying some of these games out. Okay, next up we have the game that was featured as the, I guess you could say, the intro picture to today's episode. And this game is called Arcade Fruit Machine, also known as Cash and Grab. The version you're looking at here is for the Commodore Amiga. Quite a few of the fruit machines do follow a similar format to this one. And here is the same game, and this is the ZX Spectrum version. As you can see, it has those brilliant and bright colors that the Speccy is known for. Pretty much the same game, although, you know, I prefer these really cool retro colors that the Spectrum has, even though there is definitely no substitute for the beauty that the Commodore Amiga had. There's just some kind of British feel to it that the ZX Spectrum has. That's one way of putting it. Okay, and next up we have Cash Bash Fruit. This was created by Codemasters, and you are looking at the Commodore 64 version of this game. Alright, and next up here we have Fruit Gambler. This is for the Atari 8-bit family. Not a loud game by any stretch. This is probably one of the quieter fruit machine games I've ever played, yet it's still pretty fun. You have 4 lines in this one and some really cool bonus rounds on this as well. Alright, next up here we have Fruit Mania for the Amiga. This one is kind of cool as you have 4 of reels to do, and you can actually hold them from one round to the next. Like, let's say you got 2 cherries and you want to hold them for the next one, or like a lemon or a grape, and you think chances are good in the next round that you may be able to get more than just 1 or 2 or even 3. So you can hold on to those for the next one, which makes this game kind of cool, but it also kind of gives you the idea that you might get a better chance of winning. Now the next one we have here has got to be probably my favorite of all the fruit games here, and this is Mega Fruit. Now in this one you actually have cards. It's a card themed slot machine, fruit machine. Although interestingly, if this is truly a fruit machine, they use American dollars, as some of the other ones you actually see the British pounds. This one has a really cool bonus round as well, and this honestly, like I said, is my favorite of all of them. I played this one for the longest time and won quite a bit of virtual money on it. Alright, here we have Mega Trek. This is the Commodore 64 version. Also gives you that holdability. Really enjoyed this one too. I played this one for quite a while. Again, this is the Commodore 64 version. And here is the ZX Spectrum version. I didn't care for this one as much because the reel stopped really quickly and you didn't get much of a chance to really kind of hope for a big win. Definitely not as good as the previous version, but yet still has that Spectrum charm. And our final fruit game for today is simply called Super Fruit, and this is for the ZX Spectrum. This one has some really cool bonus rounds, 2 different ones that I really enjoyed. Made this game probably one of the best ones on the list, to be honest with you. Okay, now we head over to Japan. Now their slot machines there are also a little bit different. These ones actually have these little stoppers where you can stop the reels as they're going on your own. Most slot machines, of course, they stop when they feel like it. This kind of gives you the impression that you are able to kind of win more often, but as someone who owns several retired Japanese slot machines, that's not really the case. What you're looking at here is AV Pachi Slot. This was released for the Famicom. It has a couple different machines on it that you can choose as to your liking. A really cool game, more of an adult themed game, just to warn you, this is probably not one you want to let the kids play with, but still a whole lot of fun. And our next game is for the Super Famicom, and this is Big Peachy Slot. Now this is kind of similar to the last one. You have several different machines in this game to choose from, and there are actually several versions of this game out there for the Super Famicom. That's correct. You could actually, I'm not sure how many, I think I count like anywhere from 5 to 10 separate games. These are a lot of fun, and even though it is in Japanese, the instructions are in English, and you will have lots of fun with this game. Again, another game probably not for the kids, but yet it's still a whole lot of fun, and you have several, and I do mean several, different machines to choose from in this game with several different variations. And finally, as promised, we have Pokemon Red. In this mini game, you can play casino game slot machines and hopefully win some money in order to get some rare Pokemon. But I'll warn you, it takes a long time. The odds are not great on a lot of these machines, and you don't really win a lot. So this could be its own separate game, honestly. And the answer to today's trivia question: in which game can playing a slot machine get your character killed? And the answer is Space Quest 1, the Saurian Encounter. This game is now in legendary status. It was released by Sierra Online and programmed by the two guys from Andromeda, Scott Murphy and Mark Crow. In this game, you take on the role of the hero Roger Wilco, and in this part of the game, you're trying to win some Buckazoids, which is, I guess, the intergalactic form of currency, in order that you can buy a spaceship and a robot to pilot it with you. This slot machine, you have a chance of winning some really big bucks, but if you get 3 skulls, well, it's literally game over.
If any of you have any great memories of some slot machines that you've played over the years, let us know about it in the comments section below. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you'd like to tell us some sad stories about times that you lost a lot of money in a slot machine, you know, you got support here. We'd like to hear those stories too. Any stories you have related to slot machines, whether you owned them or you've played them in a store or you've been to casinos around the world, we'd really like to hear what you have to say.
In our next episode, we will do an arcade versus port of the most successful video game in gaming history, Space Invaders.
Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of Classic Gamer 74. I really hope you all enjoyed it. We really enjoyed bringing it to you. Oh, we sure did. We have fun every time we're here. And if you did enjoy it, don't forget to give us a great big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to click that little bell icon down there so you'll be notified when I upload new episodes. Also, don't forget to check out my second channel, Musical Memories, where I review some of my favorite classic rock, country, and heavy metal albums. Well, until next time, I am Anthony Gamer, and I am Alligator, and we will see you all in the next episode. Until next time, be strong, be safe, be healthy, be happy, and above all, take care of each other. Be kind to each other and stop Asian American hate. See you guys next time. Bye. Bye, everyone.